Why did you choose to study abroad? What made you choose the U.S.?
Since my high school days, I wanted to, study abroad. It was kind of a dream. It is a dream for many students in India. So I even gave the SAT, but things didn't work out then. And one of my cousin who was studying alongside me, he went to the US and he studied in undergrad programs. So he was the one who told me that US education is an excellent way to, make a career out of and get things in a better outlook. Another reason was that I wanted to pursue higher education, and what option would be better than the US?
Just give us some background on how you chose to apply to the schools that you did, any key variables in terms of determining where you thought you would fit in best.
Well, the first step is to take the GRE exam. That is the first step, everybody knows about it. To shortlist the universities, it is, people advised me that in any case, like whatever your level is, just go for universities which are top notch, as well as medium, as well as the low class, because what happens is you have to make a portfolio out of it. So you choose 2 to 3 universities which are top notch, then some universities, a couple of universities which are at the mid level, and then you need the fallback option. So it was a portfolio of about 6 universities which I applied to, and according to the deadlines I proceeded with them. The first thing which came into my mind was the rankings, of course, like every student does, but it's more than the rankings. It's about the program you're doing, the program specific universities, and it depends on the program which you want to pursue, which might be better at a university which is at a lower rank than the university you might prefer. So it all depends on the program which you want to do.
Any other factors in terms of location or career prospects or anything like that?
Well, of course, I wanted to be specifically in New York. That made my choice easier to be into to get into Columbia University. Obviously, if I had more options, then I would have, looked into it with a deeper thought. Since New York has hub which is mostly finance based, and there is more opportunities of networking here. So that is one of the main reasons I chose New York.
Issue of concern for international students, Indian students in particular, it's the SOP, the Statement of Purpose. Talk about a little bit about how you tackle that, what you focused on, how you think it showed your strengths, just a little bit of generality about of the SOP in your case.
When I first started writing my SOP, it was kind of hard because, to be honest, I didn't have the right creative and communicative skills to write an SOP. Specifically, it's about knowing yourself. It's about knowing what your qualities are, what your weaknesses are. It's just like a job interview, but it's just a paper-based interview. What happened was I wrote an SOP and I consulted a few people. I showed them my SOP to critique it. It turned out that my SOP was not that great, and I had to make changes on the basis of very specific questions, like why you want to do this, why do you want to choose this university, what are you going to do in life. There are very specific questions. You have to go into very specific details without rambling. So those were the major issues which came up with me during writing my SOP, and I had to go over it again and again. The first time I wrote my SOP, I just wrote it vaguely, and I remember there was nobody to help me write an SOP, like the first step, the writing part. I wrote a 1-page SOP and I sent it to many people, to critique it, to many people who are studying here or who have studied here and currently are taking up jobs. It took about like a week or two, maybe more than that, for them to reply, because they were busy, and I found out that you have to be very specific with the questions they have asked in the SOP, some universities ask very specific questions, but even if they don't ask questions, you have to answer questions like why do you want to do this? Why are you choosing the university? What do you want to do in life? And you have to be very specific about it. You cannot ramble, and you cannot just write stuff and get away with it. You have to make yourself look like you know yourself. You have to make the university realize that yeah, they know you by this SOP, and this SOP is like a photocopy of yourself. There were a couple of things which were important, like the first thing is the goal, the career goals. I wanted to pursue as an entrepreneur in the long run, so that's what I wrote. Since I did engineering management systems, I wanted to get into operations, like in a manufacturing setup. So I wrote about that. I wrote about my past experiences, even the smallest detail counts. You know, it's not what you did. It's about what you did and how it helped you. How it helped you make a good person, make a better person. You know, how you've inscribed these qualities, and how they came up to you.
What your general costs are, if you can, any thoughts you have about teaching assistants or research assistants or on-campus jobs to help work back through some of the expenses, and anything that you've been able to do in that regard, or that you've heard other people do.
I think, yeah, you're right. Studying in the US is pretty expensive, especially for international students, since, you know, it's hard to get scholarships and all the stuff, and not many people can afford US education. But obviously there are opportunities which help you out throughout your course. You have to take loans for tuitions. Tuition cannot be supplemented by, say, on-campus job, and the universities do not allow you to do an off-campus job unless until it's more than 1 year or something. The living expenses can be taken care of by university campus jobs and teaching assistant positions, and obviously it helps you in the resume as well. You know, if you have a teaching assistant job, you can always talk about it during interviews and during further goals in life.
You mentioned student loans. Were those loans procured through India or the United States?
When I talk about that, it's a loan taken from an Indian.
Talk to me a little bit about your career goals. You know, you're studying engineering in the U.S. at Columbia. What some of your short-term goals and maybe your longer-term goals with this degree and with your experience in the United States?
I would like to say that, you know, your career goals keep on changing with time in life. Because in first place, I wanted to be an engineer. I pursued an undergrad degree in engineering. And then I saw a manufacturing setup when I was doing an internship back in India. I was pretty surprised at how big the system was, and I wanted to do more into operations. So for that, I chose a program which suited my needs, and I came to Columbia University to pursue engineering management, which would make me more educated about operations and the logistics. So in the short run, I would say I wanted to take up a job and get a bit of experience, and in the long run I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to start my own business, but for obviously starting your own business you need experience. You cannot start your own business by just getting out of college and investing.
Do you see yourself going back to India, or do you think you're going to stay in the U.S., or maybe stay in the U.S. for a certain amount of time and then go back to India?
Well, as I told you, the career goals always change in life.
Right.
So initially I wanted to work in the US for some time, like a couple of years or maybe more. But right now I wish to go back to India, and I have opportunity with my family business, as well as I have plans of starting a new business in conjunction with my father's business. So
Okay.
it's like an integration in our own business.
I think just to wrap up, do you have any general advice or thoughts for Indian students in your position who are interested in post-secondary study in the United States? What they, should be considering, what they should think about, just anything general.
I think one of the most important thing is to know what you're doing. When you want to pursue an education in US or other countries outside of India, you have to know what the university is all about. You obviously, there is a big disadvantage that you cannot go on campus and get tours, but there is also always scope for knowing the university much better through googling, of course, but also through talking to people who are abroad, who are studying abroad, who are studying in the university, talking to the professors, and secondly, also knowing about the courses, because just knowing the program is not enough. I think since I came here, I experienced that knowing the courses is as important as knowing the program, because there are many electives to choose from, and if you know about the courses well in advance, you will have an easier way.
So when you write an SOP for an engineering school where the program is pretty much focused, as compared to writing an SOP for an undergraduate program where, you're writing about your extracurriculars and your, philanthropy work. So do you have any thoughts on how an SOP, let's say for an engineering program, is different from a SOP for an undergraduate or a business program where they're looking for leadership? Any thoughts on that?
Different from the undergrad program, the graduate program requires that you write an SOP which is focused on your career goals. And if you look at it from the business school point of view, it should be different in a way that you must have a lot of stuff done in the field you want to work in engineering. Let's say you want to do a program in mechanical engineering. You want to go specifically into, say, mechanics. You want to design robots and stuff. I'm just taking an example, vague
Sure.
example. You have to show something that you have done in college, like your project work. You have to show that you have to, if you have research papers, that is a very good help. If we talk about programs like engineering management, which I was going through, you have to talk about leadership qualities as well as a little bit about your engineering stuff. So it's kind of a mix. You have to decide according to the program. What I wrote was specific about my career goals as well as what things in undergrad helped me. Like I was the director of the road track club in Delhi for the technical services. So it helped me learn more about operations when I was in the junior year of undergraduate program. Secondly, my internship at Mozabeer India Limited back in Noida helped me realize that how manufacturing systems are run and operations can be a wide area of study. That's what motivated me to get into operations. So that's what I wrote down on my SOP. That's what mattered, because it's by that they know what you want in life and how and where does this motivation come from.
Okay, so if we were to just summarize this discussion, essentially when you're applying for a graduate program in engineering, your extracurriculars or the work you have done or the SOP you're writing has to be focused on the program you're doing and some kind of evidence that you are suited to doing that program and that you have a real interest in doing that program,
Right.
and linked to the career goal rather than broad-based kind of stuff.
Exactly.
And
So
as
you
you
have to be
mentioned-
very specific, and especially if you talk about engineering, you have to be program specific, as well as you have to be specific about what you want to do within the program. You know, there are many things you can do in mechanical engineering, say, or electrical engineering, but you have to know what you want to do in life with that engineering degree you want to pursue.
Fair. So that specificness and that evidence of what you really want to do, you may
Yes.
call it.
Yes.
That's very important. And what did you mention you wrote about?
I wrote about since I have a family business back home, so I used to go to the unit with my dad, and while doing that, he taught me a lot of things. He taught me how the processes are run in the industry, how the business is carried out, and that's what I wrote, and how it motivated me. You know, that's the important part. It's not just what you do, it's about what it teaches you in life, and how you apply that, you know. So I want to go back now. That's what I wrote. You know, I wrote that I wanted to head back to India and join my father's business, and you know, apply the degree over there, apply my education.
Sure.
And the US education provides a really good practical outlook towards life, and it helps you apply the education in a better way.